Hello friends, today we will start with chapter number 5, cost of production and concept of revenue. Now, cost of production and concept of revenue. Why we need to study these two topics in economics? First of all, as we all know, whenever any product is launched in the market or is put in for sale in the market, two things it is based. First of all, how much is cost of production, that is how much cost we have incurred for producing that particular product. Second is the revenue, means how much income we are generating from selling it, right? And on the basis of that we can decide our profit. So these two concepts are very important to understand. Now cost is also bifurcated here in different types, which helps the firm to decide different factors. Now first of all, as there is a change in quantity of production, there is a change in total cost, right? If the quantity of production will increase, total cost will also increase, right? And by cost we can come to know about the debit side of the firm, that is as it is an expense we can say. And by revenue we can come to know about the credit side of the firm, as it generates your income. Now different cost, like why we need it, that is it helps the firm to decide price of its commodity. When we'll know the cost of production, then only we can decide at what price we should sell the product. Second, it provides guidelines to maximize the profit of the firm. Marginal cost, it is useful to explain maximum profit. This all topics will study in detail in further slides. Concept of marginal cost is helpful to understand the behavior of a firm. Then concept of cost and revenue, it plays a very important role in taking decision like what amount of factor of production are invested by the firm, how much employment is given, what amount of production and investment is done. And then comes the role of opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is important to know the alternative uses of factor of production in managerial economics. And concept of monetary cost is useful to give guideline for the administration of the firm. Now various concepts of cost, real cost and opportunity cost. First of all, real cost. So what is real cost? It is a cost which is increased during the production process, which includes fatigue, boredom, dissatisfaction, mental tension, physical pain of labor capitalist, landowner and entrepreneur. Now first of all, the main concept was based on land and labor only, but now in modern times this concept is considered in concept of capitalist as well as entrepreneur also. Now according to Marshall, the laborers, capitalists and entrepreneurs who are involved in the process of production, they bear some psychological and physical burden, and such burden he is termed as real cost. It can be in form of tension, and for laborers it can be in form of physical pain, or it can be for the dissatisfaction of their job, anything. Now money spent by many producers for production work of goods is not only production cost, but it can be one of these factors like fatigue, boredom, dissatisfaction, mental tension, physical pain of labor, etc. So real cost is not compulsory that it can be presented in monetary term, or we can say that real cost cannot be presented in monetary term. So therefore real cost is a non-monetary cost, because we cannot express all these things in monetary terms. If I say express mental tension in monetary terms, so how you can express it? Express dissatisfaction in monetary terms, so how you can express, right? So real cost cannot be presented in monetary terms, so it is known as non-monetary cost. Now what problems do we face in real cost measurement? Now as real cost includes the feeling, we can say, or mental tension or physical pain, right? Like anxiety, pain, sacrifice. So the goods which have psychological impact, they are very difficult to measure. Moreover, the smoke emitted by factories created adverse effect on health of the people of surrounding area, and this adverse effect is also a cost in social view, and therefore it cannot be measured. Now comes the second, that is the opportunity cost. Now in simple terms, the opportunity cost defined that is the best alternative whose production is left out, and due to that amount of money value left is opportunity cost of that commodity. So opportunity cost, we can say the best alternative which we have left out to produce the current product. So that is the opportunity cost. Now the concept of opportunity cost, it was presented by Austrian economist, and the means of production, they have alternative uses. Obviously we know that from one particular product we can make different products, like from plastic we can make jug, from plastic we can make compass box, lunch box, bucket, means many things are there. Wood, from wood we can make furniture, pencil, right? Means from one particular product we can make different things, right? So the things we choose to make and the best alternative we left, that is called the opportunity cost. The means of production which have alternative uses, that is more than one use. So this concept is based on a particular characteristic of factor of production, when a factor is used for a particular use and the other use is left out, or the same cannot be used for other purpose. Therefore we can say that the best alternative which is left out is the opportunity cost of production. Let us take an example, like on one field or on any land, if we are producing wheat, right? So at the same time, on the same piece of land, other food grain cannot be produced, right? If any worker is there and he is working in any textile mill, right? So is it possible for him to work in any other industry at the same time? No, he cannot work. So this way the factor of production, they have alternative uses. Let us take one more example. One piece of land that can be used to produce any food grain, say example wheat or rice, right? And if wheat is produced on that piece of land, and the income of 2 lakh can be earned, and if rice is produced, the income of rupees 3.5 lakh can be earned. So the farmer behavior is rational and logical. So he will leave the production of wheat and produce rice, in which he is earning total 3.5 lakh. Now it is a normal human mentality. Wherever the person will find more profit, obviously he is going to produce that particular product, right? Where he will see more profit, that particular product he will choose for the production. So here he finds that in rice, that when he will produce rice he will earn more profit, so he will go for the production of that. So to get the income of rupees 3.5 lakh from the production of rice, the farmer left out the income of 2 lakh from the production of wheat. Now because he decided to produce the rice, so the 2 lakh which he will earn if he would have grown wheat, okay, so that left out income of rupees 2 lakh from the production of wheat, that is the opportunity cost of rupees 3.5 lakh which he earned from the production of rice. So I hope you understood real cost and opportunity cost. Real cost, it is a non-monetary cost which we cannot measure in monetary terms, and opportunity cost, it is the best alternative which we left out for the production of any other. Problems in measuring of opportunity cost. Now what problems do we face in measuring opportunity cost? There are three, that is factors with one use, factors having specific use, and monetary cost. Now first of all, factors with one use. Now suppose if any factor of production is there and he has only one use, then its opportunity cost cannot be decided. Means if any factor of production, if we can use it for one thing only, so we cannot decide this opportunity cost. For example, if some piece of land is there and it is only used to produce grass, so far as that piece of land, opportunity cost cannot be calculated because it is not having any alternative uses. So it will be applied for unemployed person also. They have no work, so how can we calculate the alternative cost? If they are having work, then only we can calculate the opportunity cost, right? Next one is factors having specific use. So if factor of production are specific factors, then this concept is not useful, because return of these factors, they are not decided by their alternative uses, but it is decided on the basis of their demand. For example, the person who is having expertise over computers, or the scientist who is having knowledge of atomic power. So specific, this they are based on demand. And third one is the monetary cost. So the concept of monetary cost, it is useful in economic analysis, decisions related to production, and in price determination. And because real cost and opportunity cost, they have many limitations, so cost of production is calculated in terms of money. Therefore concept of monetary cost is very important. And producers having objective of maximum profit or maximum profit, they produces goods at low cost and tries to maximize profit from it. So these are the three factors. Now short term and long term. Now before understanding the concept of short term and long term, let us understand the fixed and variable term. Now there are some factors of production whose quantity can be changed easily with the changing quantity of factor of production. So quantity of production also changes. For example, raw material, extra laborers, fuel, these are those factors which can be changed in a short period of time. So they are known as variable factors. So variable factors are those factors whose quantity can be changed in a short period of time. And expenditure on these factors is known as variable cost. And on the other hand, machinery, building, factory administrative staff cannot be changed or increased in a short period of time. So these are known as fixed factor of production. That is, we cannot purchase any machine or any building for machinery in a very short period of time, right? Like we can purchase extra raw material. So this machinery, factory administrative staff, they are known as fixed factor of production. And the cost we incur on such factors of production is known as fixed cost of production. Now short term. So short term, it is the period of time during which factor of production like machinery, plant, etc. are fixed and we cannot increase it. So that is known as short term. Or we can say that a short term is such a period in which a producer cannot change the size of firm but can increase its production by use of factor of production. And short term is such a time period in which certain factor of production are fixed, like machinery, plant, building, etc. And with the increase or decrease in variable factors, which are the variable factors? That is raw material, labor, electricity. With the increase or decrease in raw materials and variable factors, we cannot increase or decrease our these fixed factors during this particular time, short term time. Long term. Now it is the period of time during which factor of production like machinery, plant, etc. are variable or they become variable. So long term is a period in which a producer can change all the factors of production. So here in long term, all the factor of production becomes variable, we can say. For example, the plant, heavy machinery, bill of a factory, right? So by increasing or decreasing this factor of production, production can be increased or decreased in long term, and producer can easily change the size of the firm, and by doing so he can also change the total production to a large extent. Now some basic definition, that is profit, cost and revenue. And starting also I told you cost first of all. So cost means the expense that must be incurred in order to produce goods for sale. Means whatever the expenditure we do for producing any goods to make it ready for the sale, that is called the cost which we have incurred in producing the good. Second comes the revenue. So that is the money that comes into the firm from the sale of their goods. Now after the production of goods, it is ready to sell. So when we sell it in the market, so that time what money comes to us or to the firm, that is called revenue. And the difference between these two, that is revenue minus cost, is called profit. So profit, that is the money that business makes. Revenue minus cost, that is called the profit of the firm. Now production. So production function, that is a graph which shows how many resources we need to produce various amounts of output. And cost function, so what does the cost function show? It shows a graph which shows how much various amounts of production cost. Now inputs to production. So fixed inputs means these resources that you cannot change. By word also you can see fixed inputs, so the resources which we cannot change. And variable inputs, variable means it varies or it changes, so the resources that can be easily changed. Now comes the classification of production cost. So the production cost is classified as short run production cost and long run production cost. Now the short run production cost is again divided into, that is fixed cost and variable cost. And again fixed cost, that is the average fixed cost, and variable cost, that is the average variable cost. Now fixed cost and variable cost. So fixed cost is the cost of production that we cannot change, and variable cost, that is the cost of production that we can change. Now this is a fixed cost curve. Now an example here, first of all fixed cost, that is in short period what happens, either the production increases or decreases or it remains zero. So there is no change in production cost. So that type of cost is known as fixed cost. And fixed cost is also known as overhead cost. So in short period there is no relation between fixed cost and quantity of production. So for example, what things are included in fixed cost? That is permanent staff salary, rent of factory building, house property tax, license fee, interest on capital, premium of insurance. Now let us understand it with the help of an example. Now here units of output is given and total fixed cost is given. Now here as you can see that units of output means the production units. So whether you produce 0 units, then also your total fixed cost is 100. If you produce 10 units, then also your fixed cost is 100. If you produce 20 units, then also your production cost or total fixed cost is 100, 30, 40, 50. If you produce 50 units, then also your production total fixed cost is 100 rupees. So here the production unit is changing, but your fixed cost does not change, it remains same. So that is why it is your fixed cost or total fixed cost. Now let us see it with the help of an example. Here x-axis, y-axis. So axis we have written output in units and here we have written the fixed cost. So when a firm produces 0 units, right? Here on x-axis we have written output unit, and on y-axis we have written fixed cost on y-axis. Now if a company produces or firm produces 0 units, then also the fixed cost is 100, then also the cost is 100. If its output is 20 units, then also the fixed cost is 100. 30, 40, 50, at 50 units also the fixed cost is 100. So as you can see, the total fixed cost curve is parallel to the x-axis, right? It is parallel to x-axis. Means at any unit of production here the fixed cost remains same. Now comes variable cost. Now variable cost, as the term itself suggests, that the cost varies according to the quantity of production. So the cost incurred on variable factors by producer, that is called the variable cost. And here in short run, if the production is increased or the quantity of production is increased, then your variable cost will also increase. If your quantity of production is decreased, then your variable cost will also decrease. And if your quantity of production is 0, then your variable cost will also be 0. Variable cost is also known as the unstable, direct or main cost. And this cost have a direct relation with the quantity of production. Why it is called direct relation? Because it changes according to the quantity of production. Now in variable cost, which things we are including? That is, we include price of raw material, energy consumption, transportation, expenditure, labor wages, tax on products, sales tax, etc. Now what happens here? As your quantity of production will increase, obviously you will require more raw materials, right? So it will also increase. And if you are not producing anything, that is, if your quantity of production is 0, then why you will require any raw material? So your variable cost will also become 0, right? So here, as your production increases, the cost also increases. So it is known as variable cost. And this difference between fixed cost and variable cost, it we can see only in short period of time. In long run, all the costs become variable cost. Now let us see here table. See units of output and total variable cost. If your units of output is 0, then your variable cost is also 0. Unit of output is 10, so it is variable cost is 80. If your unit of output is 20, then it is 150, and 30, then it is 210, 40, then 290, and if your unit of output increased to 50 units, then your variable cost increases to 390 rupees, right? So as you can see, as the quantity of production or output units increases, your total variable cost also increases. Now let us see it with the help of a diagram. Here on x-axis we have written output in units, and on y-axis we have written total variable cost in rupees. Now at 0 unit of outputs, your fixed cost is also 0. At 10 units of output, your total variable cost is 80. At 20 units of output, it is 150. At 30 units, your cost is 210. At 40 units, your variable cost is 290. And at 50 units, your variable cost is 390. So as you can see, as the quantity of production increases or units increases, your total variable cost graph also goes up. Now at last comes the total cost. So total cost means what? It is the sum of total fixed cost and total variable cost. So that is equal to your total cost. Total cost we can also call as TFC, that is total fixed cost, plus TVC, that is total variable cost. Now there is a cause effect relationship between total production and total cost. If total production is more, then your total cost will also be more. Now let us see the help of this example. Here production in units is given, total fixed cost. Total fixed cost everywhere it is 100 because fixed cost is always fixed. Variable cost, it varies according to the quantity of production. And total cost, so total cost how it comes? Total fixed cost plus total variable cost, that is 100 plus 0 is equal to 100. Here 100 plus 80, that is equal to 180. 100 plus 150, that is equal to 250. So how come your total cost column, right? Now here you can see that as your quantity increases, your total cost is also increasing. Now here we are presented in the form of graph. On x-axis we have written total production in units, and here we have written cost in rupees, right? On y-axis. This one is your fixed cost curve. That is, whatever the unit of production, your cost is fixed, that is 100 rupees. Then comes your variable cost, that is this one, yellow line. It is your variable cost curve. And this gray one, this is your total cost curve line. So total fixed cost will remain fixed, and total variable cost and total cost curve moves upward from left side or left hand to right hand side. Upside it moves, right? So what we can interpret from it, or from this table or from this diagram, what we can say? So we can say that if your production is 0, then your total variable cost is 0. And if your production is 0, then your total fixed cost is same, that is 100, right? So here we conclude the session. In next section we will continue with the chapter ahead. Thank you.